Hello, today I'm going to teach you how to assemble a clarinet. First of all, make sure your clarinet case is on a flat surface so that the clarinet doesn't move around at all. Also, make sure that the buckles here go up towards the ceiling. If you have your case upside down or backwards, it could ruin the clarinet, and it could also bump around and the pieces could fall out, and we don't want that. So once you have your clarinet case on a flat surface, the buckles open and facing up, I want you to just gently lift it up, and you should see your clarinet. Now the clarinet has a lot of different pieces to it, but the 5 main pieces are the mouthpiece, right here, the barrel, the upper joint, the lower joint, and the bell. Other pieces include the mouthpiece cover and the ligament, which is this silver thing right here. Now, one of the most important pieces that's not on the instrument quite yet is the reed. It looks like a wooden, thin piece of wood, but actually it is made out of cane. And we'll learn how to put that on a little bit later in the video. So now that we are familiar with all 5 pieces of the clarinet, it's time to put it together. Now you may notice that on each of these pieces, they have wooden parts at the ends of each piece. It's right here, and there's one right here as well. Well, these are called the corks. And when you first get the clarinet, they can be kind of dry, and it makes it very hard to put the clarinet together. So to help out with this, we have cork grease. It looks very similar to chapstick. And what we do is we just put a little bit on the corks to make it easier to put the clarinet together. Just like so. And a little bit around here. And you'd like to do that with each piece of cork that you find. I've already greased mine up. So now I'm going to show you how to assemble the clarinet. First, you need to find the upper joint, which is this one right here. Now, you might get this confused with the lower joint, but the upper joint has the logo right here. It might be a little hard to see because mine's a bit faded, but it has a logo on top, whereas the lower joint, one way back here, is not only a bit taller, but it also has the logo at the bottom. So now we're going to take the upper and the lower joint, and we're going to twist them together, like so. And you don't want to put your hands on top of the keys because you could bend them and possibly damage them. Another way to know if you're putting your clarinet together right is this little bridge right in here. Do you see these 2 marks here? This is going to go over this part, and that's how you know that you've assembled it properly. Good. So now we have the upper joint with the logo, and we have the lower joint right here at the bottom of here. The next step in putting together a clarinet is you take the bell out of the case, this part right here. And this one's pretty easy to remember because it looks like a bell. So now we're going to take our upper and lower joint, and we're just going to twist the bell onto the bottom of the lower joint, just like so. And be careful this doesn't come apart too, because that can be pretty easy, especially with the corks all greased up like that. Good, now we have the bell, the lower joint, and the upper joint. The next step in putting our clarinet together is to put the barrel on top of the upper joint, in this part right here. So we're going to take the barrel out of the case, right here. And this one's pretty easy too because it looks like a barrel. With the label facing up, this label just happens to be Vito, we're going to gently twist this on the top part of the upper joint, just like that. And you can tell that you're putting this on correctly if all the labels are facing the same way and they're lined up. So you have 1 Vito, 2 Vito, 3 Vito, and 4 Vitos. Good. The last part of assembling our clarinet is the mouthpiece. So I'm just going to have you put the rest of the clarinet on a flat surface, keys facing up. Now we have the mouthpiece of the clarinet, and that's the final remaining part of putting together the clarinet. So now I'd like to take the mouthpiece out of the case, which you see right here, and it's covered with a mouthpiece cover. So now we're just going to take that off and put it back in the case. So now we see the actual mouthpiece with the ligament, this little silver thing. So if you want to take this off, we just loosen the screws up a little bit. Mine's already pretty loose. And we just slip this up over the top of the mouthpiece and set that down. This piece is an important part because it helps keep the reed in place on the mouthpiece. So now that we just have the mouthpiece, we need to put the reed on. And there's 2 sides. There's this one that has no holes, and there's this one that has the hole in the mouthpiece. And this is where the reed's gonna go. It's gonna cover this big hole right here. And the reed I have right here, it's in the protector, a little piece of plastic so it doesn't get bent. Reeds have a tendency to get chipped a lot or get split right down the middle right here, but this one is not. So there's 2 sides of the reed. There's this side that has no writing, and then there's this side that has writing. So while I am putting the clarinet together, I like to just take the reed and place it in my mouth to wetten it a little bit. But for right now, I just put it on my tongue and make sure it's damp, like so. Pretty damp. So now you take the side of the mouthpiece that has the hole, and you take the reed that has, in the side that has no writing, and you place it on top of the hole, the mouthpiece. Now, some people will put it on over here, which is way too much reed. And some people have the reed that's too low. There's still a little bit of the mouthpiece showing, and there's none over here. So what I'd like to do is to find a right balance to match the top of the reed to the top of the mouthpiece. And you can see just a tiny bit of reed on this side, like that. So now with your thumb on the bottom of the reed to hold it in place, you're going to put the ligament on over the top of the mouthpiece. Be careful not to hit the reed. And you're just going to gently screw that into place. And this one's very loose. Here we go. Another way to show that is that on the front part of the mouthpiece, there are 2 lines, one here and one here. And this is to show you where the ligament goes. So now that the mouthpiece is all set, we're going to take our clarinet, this part, and we're going to put this on top of the barrel right here, just like that, with these 2 lines facing the front of the clarinet, matching up with the logo. And we're just going to gently twist that in. There we go. So now we have successfully put together a clarinet.